Now, I do have to start with a bit of bad news this morning. I'm sorry to tell you that by virtue of your being here today, tomorrow morning each and every one of you is going to be audited by the IRS. You know, yesterday Lois Lerner went before Congress and yet again pleaded the Fifth. And of course, President Obama told Bill O'Reilly during the Super Bowl there's not a smidgen of corruption with the IRS. Reminded me of one of my favorite movies. You keep on using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. You are here today at CPAC because you understand the stakes in this country have never been higher. You are here because you understand our country is at a crisis point. We are at the edge of a cliff. Liberty is under assault. There are a lot of D.C. consultants that say there's a choice for Republicans to make. We can either choose to keep our head down, to not rock the boat, to not stand for anything, or we can stand for principle. And they say if you stand for principle, you lose elections. The way to do it, the smart way, the Washington way, is don't stand against Obamacare. Don't stand against the debt ceiling. Don't stand against nothing. I want to tell you something. That is a false dichotomy. The one election that was a tremendous election was 2010 when Republicans drew a line in the sand. We said we stand unequivocally against Obamacare, against bankrupting the country, and we won an historic tidal wave of an election. And I got to tell you, change, real change, is changing the corrupt and broken system that is here in Washington, D.C. Obamacare, one of the easiest ways to understand it, it's a massive wealth transfer from young, healthy people to everybody else. We need to tell the truth. The truth is, Washington is corrupt. How many of y'all have your cell phones? I'm going to ask you to please leave them on. I want to make sure President Obama hears everything I have to say this morning. We need to abolish the IRS. I'm much more interested, in North Dakota in the oil fields, the average wage is $45.90 an hour. I want a lot more $40 and $50 and $60 an hour jobs and not $0 an hour unemployment. We need to repeal Dodd-Frank. We need to audit the Federal Reserve. We need to stop bankrupting our country. Right now our kids and grandkids are inheriting a country where the national debt is larger than the size of our entire economy. What we're doing to our kids and grandkids is morally wrong. It is an outrage. If we keep on this road, they will spend their entire lives working not to meet the needs of the future, not to meet the needs of their priorities, but instead just working to pay off the debts that their deadbeat parents and grandparents stuck them with. We need to repeal every single word of Obamacare. We need to stop the lawlessness. This president of the United States is the first president we've ever had who thinks he can choose which laws to enforce and which laws to ignore. He announces just about every day one change after another in Obamacare. It is utterly lawless. It is inconsistent with our Constitution, and it ought to trouble everyone, Republicans, Democrats, independents, libertarians. Let me tell you something. If you have a president who is picking and choosing which laws to follow and which laws to ignore, you no longer have a president. We need to eliminate corporate welfare and crony capitalism. If you come to Washington and serve in Congress, there should be a lifetime ban on lobbying. And we need to pass a strong constitutional amendment that puts into law term limits. I have never been more inspired than I am right now. I'm not inspired by Washington. I'm not inspired by the corruption. I'm not inspired by the mendacity in the White House. I am inspired because all across this country, the American people are waking up. All across this country, people are waking up and saying what we're doing is not working. People are hurting tragically, and we need to turn this country around. We did it in 1980 with a grassroots movement that became the Reagan Revolution, and let me tell you, the same thing is happening all over today. Together, if the American people continue to rise up, to speak out, to speak the truth, we will get back to the free market principles. We will get back to the constitutional liberties that have made America the greatest nation in the history of the world. We will bring back mourning in America. That's why we're here, and that is the future for the young and everybody else in this country. Thank you, and God bless you.